Good morning, Tom. I just finished reading your reflective essay, and I really enjoyed it. I'm sitting here struggling to find something to say to help enhance it. I don't know what, I mean, it's very hard because you did a great job. Let's see. You have addressed all the standards, and you've talked about them in your author's agenda. Explain your perspective gained from taking the course. Reflect on new ideas or strategies that will help me be a better writer, and provide ideas gained from textbook or other resources. Very basic, but exactly what you need to do to reflect upon the essay. So let's see. I like how you talk about your background here in the beginning. That really sets the stage for the reader to understand where you're coming from and, what courses you've already been through and what experiences you've already been through. That's a good perspective right away for the reader. So let's see. Something I liked in your introduction was how honest you were. I think that, it's very, very important to be honest in your reflection. If you're not honest, you're cheating yourself. You're the one reflecting upon it. So the statement, however, as the class concludes, I can honestly say this has been the most frustrating class I've ever taken. I consider myself to be an excellent writer, but after this class, my confidence as a writer is at an all-time low. I have never had more doubt when turning in an essay, and I dread to see the results. That's very, very honest, and I applaud you for, taking that leap and being just as honest and open as you would like to be, and really reflecting upon what you learned in the class. I mean, you didn't sugarcoat anything, you didn't lie about anything. Again, just plain open honesty, and I think that's really nice. Also, I think that's something you can really take something from that with the course into your own teaching. And I'm reading that sentence and I'm thinking about ways that I could better my students and that I would never want my students to think that. I teach six-year-olds, teach first grade, and I'm sure a lot of them think that a lot of the time, but it's something that nobody should feel, and I don't want anybody to ever feel that way. So looking at that sentence is really motivating for a reader, because especially a teacher reader, and I think it could be motivating for you as well, to make sure that no one ever feels that way after a course that you take, and that you're an encouraging writing teacher and not one where your students walk away feeling low and just dreadful of how they're going to get graded. So I like that statement a lot. Something I really like is the next statement. Despite all those negatives and setbacks, I've been able to find a few positives from the class. That's a nice positive spin, and it does say that you did take something away from the course. Whether it's positive or negative, you found something from this course to take away from it, and that was very reflective, and it addressed your author's agenda of your perspective on the course, and introduced the point of reflecting on new ideas and gaining ideas from the text. So let's keep going. In your next paragraph, you talk about peer editing. One positive of this class was peer editing in the class. And then you go on to talk more about that. And so that hits your author's agenda of reflecting on new ideas learned from the course and just the perspective of the course that you really liked that. Something I found really awesome and interesting in your reflection was how you quoted specific people that edited your papers, and I thought that was neat. You talked about Kelly White's quote and how Andrew Depew pointed some things out in your essays. I could connect with that because I'm in your group. Andrew always pointed out my grammatical errors, and that really helped me because it's something that I overlook all the time. So this whole paragraph just talks about the importance of having somebody edit your paper and revising it, and sometimes that's not something you can do yourself. I mean, you can edit, you can revise, but having somebody else look over it with a fresh set of eyes, I thought that was very helpful with this course. Sometimes I hated doing it on my Saturday mornings, but part of the course, and I think it helped me grow as a writer and an editor from both sides of it. So I liked that. You're reflecting on some ideas learned in the course. The next paragraphs plural, go into some ideas you took away from the text. That another positive aspect of the class was your textbook. Just a quick little nitpicky thing. You didn't put a space there. And again, I'm being nitpicky because I can't think of anything to say to really help enhance this. I loved it. I thought it was very reflective. You quoted the author like we were asked to do. Quick writing is no fail in my room. There's no expectations about what the writing is supposed to be. You can sketch or write a list or line out poetry. You talk about things that Kittle says. I think Kittle's how you say the name. I didn't read that textbook, but even without reading that textbook, your reflection was so thorough and you really addressed what Kittle wrote about in the book that I feel like I've taken away a little bit from that book. And so I think that really shows how in-depth your reflection was. Going back, I got ahead of myself, sorry. This paragraph, you talk about Kittle goes into detail about how a skillful writing teacher conducts all stages of writing with her students. Furthermore, the textbook had a DVD with it, so we can use the textbook in lessons at work in the classroom. The best part about the DVD is showing students going through the process and stages of writing. I'm incredibly jealous. Ray's text was awesome, very easy to read, easy to understand, but I think that DVD is very just fantastic. Just another supplemental resource to go to and look at and help in your writing teaching of writing. So I like that you reflected upon that. Let's see. Again, your next chapter, you quoted the author, you quoted Kittle, oh my gosh, and kind of what you learned from her or him. You talked about ideas from the text, which was part of your author's agenda. You talked about how it was practical, and then you talked about specific ideas, which I really liked. I used a quick write as a pre-writing strategy to help students get insight and gather some positive energy towards their writing. So then you took what you learned from the text and reflected upon how you used it in the classroom. So that's very reflective and very thorough, and I enjoyed that. Again, you continued to go into detail about the what you learned from the text. The other thing I was impressed with was how Kittle modeled all of her approaches in front of her students. In other words, she participated with the students. I think that that's so important across all grade levels, not just college, not just high school, not just, I went with my elementary students. So I thought that was neat because your book that you read was geared towards older students. But I think that that's super important for younger students as well. They need to see real life examples. And I kind of really hit home with me for this course because there were examples provided, but I think maybe even a video of how our professor, used one of the strategies that we're about to use. Maybe that would have helped, and maybe that would have aligned directly with I'm losing it this morning. The textbooks we read and what we were supposed to take away from it. I think that would have really helped in the process. And now that I'm sitting here, I'm reflecting even more after reading your piece, which makes your reflection even better. That is making me reflect. So again, you just keep talking about Kittle, which is perfect. You're really thorough. Let's see. Finally, this paper has helped me put into perspective writing as a tool for thinking and learning. By taking this class, I got back in touch with the fact that writing can be used in a variety of ways in every subject. You're putting a positive spin on what you learned from a class that was frustrating to you. So you're being very honest again, but I like how you took something away from it. So I liked that. Let's see. This is something I connected with. By participating in this class, I got in contact with some outstanding colleagues throughout the state, and they offered a refreshing outlook on writing in general. I thought that was nice. I agree with you on that. Sometimes we get so caught up in just the people that we work with, and sometimes that can really get old, and you just need a fresh perspective. And so I agree. As frustrating as this course was, it was nice to have some outside eyes and ears and just perspectives. Sometimes I wish there was a place to just go without having all the coursework, but I could have somebody totally random from a different district, a different school, a different part of the state, read my writing or help with a lesson plan or just something, silly like that. But it was nice to get a fresh, refreshing outlook. So I agree with you on that. Was this class at times frustrating? Without a doubt. However, at the end, I feel like my attitude on writing has, without a doubt, dramatically shifted towards the better. I agree with you. That was very honest, and you concluded your reflection perfectly. So I wish I had something to say to help you enhance this reflection, but it's your reflection. It's what you think. I don't know how to critique that. And I've sat here for a long time trying to find something, but You cited your works. I guess maybe you could find another source to cite. We read about Romano and his verbs. I think that was Romano with the verbs. We read some other sources. We could talk about the research articles. Maybe just enhance the readings or the text. You talked about the textbook a lot, which was obviously very thorough and wonderful. But maybe if you could talk about the scholarly articles or pull in another source, maybe that would have helped enhance it a little bit. But otherwise, I thought you did a fantastic job and I enjoyed reading it. Thanks.